Let's talk about how to physically prepare for military school. I'm going to be doing this in one shot, no edits. Are you ready? Get a pen and paper, get ready to take some notes. All right, so you've been accepted to VMI, West Point, Citadel, Texas A&M, Naval Academy, etc. Getting the appointment itself is half the battle. Your 18 years thus far, everything that you've done, you've been working at, is to get this prize, right? That appointment in your hands. The other half of the battle is staying the course and graduating. It's not enough just to get the appointment and then to eventually get kicked out, okay? So one of the aspects that's going to be expected of you is for you to maintain and to exceed your physical ability. The other aspect is academics and also military aptitude, but that's for another video. For physical stuff, okay? If you're not in shape right now, after watching and listening to this video, I want you to give yourself permission. 48 hours to take it easy and then to go all out. Review this video twice, 3 times, and then to go all out. The reason why I don't want you to watch this video and then to go right at it is because sometimes we need to take the proper necessary steps in order to be ready to go at it. Meaning I want you to get hydrated, I want you to stretch out, get a gym membership if you don't have one. That way, when you show up in 2 days, you're ready to tackle and go at this as if it's your life mission before you can matriculate. Because I want you to show up to wherever you're going. Now that I'm in my 30s, all those petty rivalries, I don't care. I think of all of us as the same team. Whether you choose to commission into the Coast Guard, the Space Force, the Navy, you go to West Point, the Air Force Academy, Norwich, it's all the same team. And I just want to see you succeed. Okay? So the first piece of advice that I have for you is to do high repetitions of compound weightlifting movements. And in particular, I want you to focus on deadlifts, squats, and power cleans. The reason being is that these 3 exercises will help you to strengthen your core. And I'm not just talking about getting abs like a 6-pack, but it helps strengthen all the muscles that surround your spine, your lower back, your hips, your everything. So deadlifts, squats, and power cleans. And don't just do like a 1 rep max, okay? What I want to see happen is to do a lower weight, but high repetitions. So pick a weight that's comfortable and bang out like 10 reps for deadlifting, or 15 reps for squats, or 10 reps in power cleans. This is a different methodology from doing a 1 or 2 rep max for squat. Okay, for that you're building an explosive power, but you're not building the muscular endurance, right? So we're trying to do 2 birds in 1 stone. Building that muscular endurance so that you can keep going longer, but also the power behind it, the muscle that comes with it. Because when you show up to the academy or to wherever school you're going to, you're going to be expected to do fireman carries, which is carrying someone that's about your size, or if you're unlucky like me, having to carry someone that's twice your size up a hill and whatnot. You're going to be ruck marching. And I have never ever done a ruck march in my life until I went to VMI, and that was a rude awakening. When you hear 35 pounds, you're just like, whatever, right? But when you're going 10, 15, 20, 25 miles with 30 to 35 pounds on your back, it can break the strongest of men. And I've seen it happen. These big old muscle heads, power lifters, you put 35 pounds on their back, it's nothing, right? But when you go beyond 2 miles, they start falling apart. Or you take that cross-country runner who's super quick in running 5 miles, 6 miles, you put 35 pounds on his back, his knees start to buckle by mile 3. So it's not about just being strong or just being able to run. You need to be a hybrid athlete in order to thrive. With that said, I don't want you to practice rucking with heavy weight on your back before you show up. That's entirely not necessary. Take it from me as a guy who was an infantry officer and who's rucked hundreds of miles. You don't need to practice rucking in order to be good at it. If you work at the other stuff here, when you go through the pipeline and the training, you will be fine. Because they're not just going to throw you into the fire and make you do a 10-mile ruck out of the blue. They're going to train you up and it's going to be progressive. You're going to do like a 2-mile ruck, a 4-mile ruck, and then a 6-mile ruck the following week and so forth. So they're going to train you into it. But there's no need to break your body before you get there. So, number 1 is to focus on building up the muscles around your lower back, your legs, and your core. And the next tip will also help with rucking and everything else associated with the military exercises that involve your physical capability. 12 miles a week. I need you to run 12 miles a week. If you're anything like me, I absolutely hate running, but looking back, I wish I would have practiced more at running. So why the magic number 12, right? 12 miles a week, let's break it down. When you do those 12 miles, I need 10 of those miles to be a slow jog. Not sprinting, not going all out, but a leisurely pace just to get the miles under your belt and to get your body used to the repetition of putting one foot in front of the other. 2 of those miles, I need you to do them as fast as you can. Like go for a PR once a week to see the mileage time drop week by week. So get a baseline, see where you're at, and set a goal for yourself to get to that time that you want to be within 12 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 weeks, whenever you're watching this. My recommendation is when you're getting physically ready to go to a military school, or if you're going to enlist, or OTS, OCS, officer boot camp, whatever you're going to, the minimum time that you really need is 12 weeks. In a perfect world, of course you would give yourself more time. 180 days, ideally. But if push comes to shove and you're in a time crunch, 3 months is really all you need to get into shape. Depends on your baseline though. But if you push yourself really hard, I think you can condition faster than the expected timeline. And those 10 miles that go slow, I don't care how you do it. You can break it up in how you want. So if you're not really a runner, that might mean doing a 1-mile jog 10 times. Okay? And if you are already a runner, or you're a soccer player, or a lacrosse player, then probably do 5 miles at a time, or 3 miles at a time. I don't care, as long as it adds up to 10 miles. Don't go more than 12 miles a week, because I also want you to incorporate other forms of low impact cardio. Because the name of the game to help with your rucking and with everything else in the military is to focus on the cardiovascular endurance. And that comes in many different forms. It's not just through running. You know, you can improve your running times by swimming, by biking. So there's many other different ways in order to improve your cardiovascular. Don't just think of it as just running. Use all the different forms out there, just so that your knees, your ankles, and everything stay fresh when you show up. You don't want to run yourself into the ground and walk into matriculation with an injury. That's the worst thing that you can do. And remember, what you're about to go through is not a sprint event. It's not something that you just go through in 8 weeks and then graduate, such as like enlisting and going to like Marine Corps boot camp. What you're about to do is a long marathon type of endurance. It's going to be 4 years. 4 years. So you need to train your body to go beyond what it's used to. So when you're at your limit, how do you train yourself mentally and physically to do 20 more, to go 1 more mile, to do 5 more reps? That's what you want to slowly want to train yourself to embrace. When you're at your limit, how do I keep going? Okay, that's a life lesson in itself. Because when you're going through the process, sometimes, I'm not going to say definitely, but sometimes there's going to be a point when you're going to be on hour 4 of PT and they're going to still expect you to do 20, 40, 50 push-ups. And you're going to have to do it unless you want to stand out and get extra attention, right? So when you're at 4 hours of PT, see, even when we go to the gym, we work out for 30 minutes to an hour, right? But if you're not used to working out for 4 hours at a time, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Unless you can condition the mind to not panic and to go through with the motions and know that it's all just a game. The next tip of advice, along with the strength training that I mentioned as tip number 1, I need you to do body weight exercises as well. I know it's a lot to ask, but what you're about to do is you're doing in an unordinary path, right? And so if you're going to go down an unordinary path, you need to do things that make you stand out. Because you're not just an ordinary civilian or just a regular guy off the street. You're literally about to be a commissioned officer leading people. So if you're going to be leading from the front, you need to get yourself in shape. Make yourself tough, that mental fortitude. So do 100 push-ups a day. I'm not saying do all of it at once, just like the 10 miles of jogging. I'm not saying do 10 miles at once. Do 100 push-ups, but broken up. So if you can't do more than 20, that's fine. Do 20 at breakfast, do another 20 before lunch, do another 20 after lunch, and so forth, as long as it adds up to 100. Okay? Push-ups are the most important, in my opinion. You need to be able to do 100 push-ups in a day by the time you matriculate. No questions, no buts, no doubts, no no. You have to be able to do 100 push-ups, okay? It doesn't mean you have to do them all at once, but it would be ideal if you could do at least 70 in once, and then do another 30 after taking a little break. But 100 within like a 3-minute time period. After the push-ups, the next important thing is you want to cover all of your bases, right? I don't know which branch you're choosing to commission, but all of them have a form of PT test, right? And most of them will incorporate a form of pull-up or a sit-up, and etc. So cover your bases with the basics and also do 20 pull-ups a day. Maybe that's 5 in the morning, 5 at lunch, and etc., etc. I'm not saying do them all at once, but you need to do 20 pull-ups a day. And pull-ups, I know it sounds intimidating, but when you break it up like that, it's not that bad. You will be okay. 20 pull-ups a day, 100 push-ups a day, and 100 sit-ups a day. You do this, and by the time you go and take your PT test, you're gonna max it out. And lo and behold, your OML, where you rank amongst your peers, especially for what branch you want or what base of preference you want, that PT test is going to be a huge indicator and a chunk of your grade. So I want you to be able to max your PT test. It's only going to help you out. Tip number 4 is, I already made a video about this, so you should check it out once you're done watching this, is to incorporate knees over toes exercises. It's the type of exercises that you do when you go to like sports rehab or sports therapy, when you get an injury. But the whole idea behind knees over toes is prevention is the best form of rehab. So you're doing rehab type of exercises when you're not injured so that you can strengthen up the tendons and ligaments. I'm not going to go into it all. Just watch the video that I already made about it. Number 5, I also think this is part of the physical nature, is to fix your sleeping patterns now. If your sleep schedule is trash and you sleep at like 2 or 3 a.m., you're gonna be in for a world of hurt. It's better for you to adjust and to get into the habit of going to bed early and waking up early so that when you get there, it's ingrained in you. It's just something that you do. Because the first time that you wake up at 4:30 a.m. to go on like a 3-mile run and PT and everything before 6 a.m., your whole body's gonna be in shock. So train yourself to wake up early and to get a start on some of these extracurricular activities that you should be incorporating. And for nutrition, this is something that's really important. It's not enough just to lift some weights and to do some bodyweight exercises. Nutrition is also very important. What I would recommend, not knowing who you are, but for most athletes and people going into the military, aim for about 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. So that if you're 150 pounds, that means you should be aiming to get at least 150 grams of protein a day. Not only is this gonna help your body synthesize the protein into muscle building and optimize the amount of muscle that you build, but it's gonna also help your body recover better. This might be bro science, I don't care. The more protein that I ate, the better that I always felt, especially after workouts. And it's been scientifically proven, the more protein that you have, the more muscle gains that you can get. So if you're gonna be making all this effort in working out, you might as well maximize the gains, okay? And I'll caveat that by saying, no, absolutely, your body does not need that much protein. I think some studies say like 0.7 grams per pound of body weight, but just go for 1 gram per pound and you will feel great. There's no need to go like 2 grams of protein per body weight pound. That's a little excessive. And in terms of nutrition, another aspect is to start breaking up with your love affair of junk food. If you're addicted to ice cream, candy, soda, you gotta nip it in the bud right now. Because when you cut yourself off from those types of nourishments, cold turkey, it's gonna hurt you mentally, physically, because you're gonna crave it. So slowly get rid of that. So every time you go grocery shopping, stop buying it. And by the time the pantry empties out and you consume all of it, do not buy it again. No more junk food. So to sum it up in nutrition, eat and prioritize protein and good fats. 1 gram per body weight pound. So what's the point of all of this? I mentioned it and I alluded to it earlier in this video, right? Eventually, in 4 years, you're going to be an officer. You're going to be in charge of 40 to 50 enlisted members. They're going to look up to you as their leader. Yeah, there's like memes and jokes like you can't spell lost without LT and all this nonsense. But deep down, they will look to you as their compass, their North Star for direction, guidance, mentorship. They're gonna look up to you. And in my opinion, a leader in the military is someone who is in charge, makes decisions, takes care of their people, is honest, gives good feedback, incorporates their opinion and values their judgment, and etc. But if you're going to be leading dozens of people who are the same age as you or even older, then you need to do what you can to earn respect when you show up. And you need to start taking that seriously. We can't change the color of our hair or our eyes, but we can change how physically in shape we are. We can change how fast we can run the mile, how many push-ups we can do. We can change that. Soft skills, you're going to learn through your officer classes, so I'm not worried about that. But what I am worried about is you showing up not ready. Okay, so show up to your first unit, or show up to school, in shape, ready to go, and always remember this phrase. Lead by example and lead from the front. You've got what it takes. You've come up to this far in your life so far. You're 18. The next 4 years are going to go slow, but when you look back, you're going to be like, wow, that went by really fast. So do what you can to get in shape. I believe in you, and if you need any more tips or advice, just comment down below and I can make a response video. Good luck.